What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare podcast. This episode is sponsored by Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Real Estate Magazine, and the ORCF, Ontario Realtors Care Foundation. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching and keynote speaking. Now, before we get started, I just want to say a big thank you to every single one of you that came out and supported my ride for charity last week. Overall, we raised $44,000 for the entire ride, which is the highest amount that the ride has ever raised. We had about 35 riders on the ride. And thank you to you. I personally led the leaderboard for individual fundraising. And again, I am so grateful. I can't thank you enough for helping us make a major difference. It was an absolute blast. We had a ton of fun and raised a lot of money and a lot of awareness. So again, a big thank you to you. Today's episode is number 251. She's a mother of 4 awesome kids and 2 grandkids. And she has an awesome extended family as well. She's been a realtor for 23 years and loves what she does. And she says that the most important key point to being successful in this industry is that you must always consistently put your client's best interests first. And that is why she has been a Centurion Award winner with Century 21 for many years over. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast is broker owner of Century 21 All Seasons Realty, Emma Kearns. Emma, welcome to the Mindshare podcast.
Hello, Mr. David. How are you?
I am doing well. It's a pleasure to have you here today. I'm excited. This is a long time coming, right?
I can't believe you. It took you 251 episodes in 2023, or are we talking overall?
Listen. It's funny because as I read that out, I was like, she's going to nail me on that. Right there, she's going to nail me. I should have never mentioned the amount of episodes.
No, you shouldn't have.
Hey, but you know what? And this is something that people don't know. And whether you guys caught that or not, when I said extended family, Em and I are family, and we spend a ton of time together. And truth be told, for everybody to understand this, we have so many conversations together about this podcast, and I will sit there writing stuff early morning, having my coffee at like her kitchen table. And I'm like, hey, what do you think of this title? Or, hey, what do you think of this topic? So, hey, you've been instrumental in really helping us get here. And I think,
I'm touched.
No, it's awesome. Hey, listen, start us off with a quick background. Okay. I mean, I know where you're located, what you do, and everything else. But let's give everybody just a quick background. And I'm not talking about the fact that you love to do stuff on the side, whatever. But
never mind.
Where are you located? Like, how long you been there? How many agents? What kind of properties are you focused on? Just let everybody know kind of a little bit more about you.
So, I'm in the Bancroft and surrounding area, and Century 21 is located right in the core of town. I've got 10 awesome agents that work for the company. And our focus is mainly cottage country, acreage, hunting camps. We do have subdivisions here. It is a great place to live, like among other places to live, but and I just happen to be in Bancroft.
Yeah.
And we're surrounded by 100 different lakes. Seriously, over 100 actually.
And not to mention some amazing motorcycle roads as well.
Oh, God. And we were supposed to take one up the Foymount Road.
We were.
Still have to do it. But the scenery is incredible here. The leaves. Shut up. Okay,
do we still have to? No. Do we still have time this year? Like with the weather the way it is right now? I don't know. This could extend.
No, the weekend is looking quite not nice. We're getting 7 and rain, and here we go.
All right. Well, we'll definitely do it. So maybe the next time I come up, I won't be on the bike. But no, but you know what? Absolutely. And I would say to, anybody that doesn't know the town of Bancroft, awesome little town, definitely surrounded by a ton of lakes. Again, yes, no jokes, a bunch of wicked motorcycle rides, but it is a wicked little space. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place to come up and have either permanent home or vacation home.
Definitely. One of the two.
And this is the thing. Every time I come,
if you got customers that are retiring, Bring them up.
See, there's the thing. But look, access to shopping, access to the fun, like everything is.
We actually have 2 Tim Hortons.
Two. Well, there you go. I know you're a big supporter of your local Timmy's, right? And in fact, we're going to talk to that in a moment because I want to come back to that with what you do with the Tim Hortons stuff in the morning. And we're going to go deeper into that.
Oh, you notice?
Of course I notice.
Just checking.
Like you're building Mindshare. Of course I'm paying attention. Here's the one thing I do know is that every time I come up there, and we come up there often, all I want to do is have a ton of fun. And you know me, like when I come up, like I'm always doing something in the morning to get some work done on my laptop. But like my MO really is like, I want to sit back. I want to have fun. And I tell you all the time, I'm like, I don't want to answer this thing. I'm putting it down. I am literally on vacay mode. Yet here you are always running out to the office, meeting with a client, having fun as well. And I would say that living and working there is obviously a very different thing. But when it comes down to what does a typical day in the life of you look like up in cottage country and trying to run a business where there is so much opportunity to like everywhere you turn, just have fun?
Okay. So, and I think a lot of us realtors do this up here is you have to have a system in place, mainly motivation. You have to motivate yourself to get up in the morning. And I've been doing this for 24 years. You get up in the morning, get to the office I started at 6. Now into my 24th year, I'm now down to coming to the office by 8 o'clock. So I used to be 6, 7. Now I'm 8 o'clock. So but I do the same system. Nothing's really changed. It's getting up, getting motivated to get up, getting into the office, doing your phone calls, your emails, your paperwork. I was always under the impression and taught by a really, really good friend of mine, realtor friend that was in the business for many, many years. You have to fill that pipe. If you don't fill that pipe, nothing's going to come out of it. So it doesn't matter what you do. You can talk to one person, 10 people, do 20 emails, but you got to do something because that something has to come down that pipe. And eventually either you get a client that's going to buy a house or whatever, or property, or you're going to get a listing. Something's going to happen. Always.
Okay. Tell me more about that. Cause I was going to go there with like that whole thing of, and not to parallel hunting with like hunting camp, but like literally hunting for business, right? Seriously speaking, like what would be, and I think you just said it, but I want to even get a little bit more definitive for everybody so they understand that. Cause I think that I believe people completely overcomplicate what they need to do in a day. Now, that doesn't mean go do one thing and then you're done. You've done your stuff. But I also believe that when we sit here and say, you got to go out there and meet people, you don't have to meet 500 people or 100 people.
No.
But even if it's one person. It's
impossible here. It's impossible in Bancroft.
Okay. You talk about hunting. Like, what are we doing? What would hunting for business look like? Like, what are a few things that maybe you do every day as non-negotiables?
Non-negotiable?
Yeah.
What I do every day, non-negotiable that I hunt for business would be, well, every day is different, David. You can't, I spend my time on the phone with a few clients, or the next day I spend my time doing emails, updating prospects. Maybe my next day is updating my listing prospects. So you can't do the same thing every day. So you pick and choose what you're going to do every day and do it. So my Wednesdays, we're going to go back to what you said earlier, is I started doing an appreciation Timbits day for businesses. I don't tell them I'm showing up. I just pick a business. And I don't even do it as Century 21. I just do it. Hey guys, hey, it's Emma. I'm doing my appreciation day and I'm here to say thank you. Thank you for being, because up here, 5 months of the year, businesses are like busy. You don't even have time to talk to them. So I figured, you know what? Thanks. Because without these guys, we don't have the tourists. We don't have the cottagers. So this is my way of saying thank you for doing what you do.
I think that is, and again, I know what you're up to with that, and I think it is fantastic. And all jokes aside, I do pay attention to it. But I know I also one day, like we were just sitting around, I was like, so what's up with that? Like, what are you doing there? When you explained it to me exactly like you just said it now, it's literally just give gratitude out to other people and just show the appreciation that they're there. Now, when you're doing that, what are you, are there any expectations? Is there something that you're looking for in the background to go, this is what I want to get out of that? Or is it, I mean, what's the motivation? Yep.
So two things. My first motivation is it gets me out and talking to the various businesses that I go out every Wednesday morning. It gives me the opportunity to even talk to them. And if in that 5 minutes they've got real estate, it's like bonus. We'll talk real estate. If they don't, there's no pressure, because I feel that when you pressure people, they have their backs up sometimes. Oh, that's what she's doing. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why she's doing it. I don't want to give out that impression. So, to appreciate them for real. This is called, for me, it's for my community.
Yeah.
Because if you're not part of your community, whether you're in a city, because I know Toronto's big, Brampton, and you've got all your big cities over there, surroundings. And it's hard, I guess, to do it in a big city. But if you pick your neighborhood, I think that's important to pick that. I don't know. I guess I can't tell you what to do, but I would pick a big, huge radius of where I would be living and focus on that and say thank you. And if business comes out of it, bonus. But you know what? I bet you any money these guys are going to say, oh, maybe I should give Mama a call. She was around here, whatever. If that's my secondary.
Look, I'm with you. And I would say that, that's the power of reciprocity, right? Like giving you shall receive, but don't give to receive, just give.
Yeah.
And eventually if you give enough and you do it literally from the goodness of your heart and go, I don't need to see $1 out of this and I'm not expecting $1 out of it. It just happens that down the road, $1 comes from it probably, but you've got to go into it with the right motivation.
Just even if I get one.
Yep.
I think bonus. It's like, I don't know about your agents or what offices, but here out in the country, and so you've got Kawartha, you've got Halliburton, you got Peterborough. We're all cottage country realtors, and we all go to the Cottage Life Show, where you present your listings for what you're going to sell for the year, right? Cottages, whatever listings you have. We don't go there thinking, oh, I'm going to sell all my cottages, or, oh, I'm going to get like 50 buyers. I'm pretty sure we go for the mindset saying, if we get one or two, it makes up the dollar and the time spent at that Cottage Life Show.
You're also involved as a volunteer firefighter.
Oh my God. Did you have to bring that up?
Listen, but like we talk about giving back to the community. And I remember, like, I even asked about that, like what's going on? And it was literally that, like you were just genuine in like wanting to help the community. And all jokes aside, I thought that was a great thing. And I looked at, like, we look at the Tim Hortons thing, we look at the firefighting, we look at just being there to assist people. I think this is a mindset that, again, you said how many years in the business?
Almost 24.
How long did it take to get into that mindset, though?
It took me a while. So if you want to learn something, guys, this is what you're going to learn.
Yeah, right?
Get into it. Like, do your community thing, because that is where it's at. And that's how people are going to remember. So do your neighborhood. I don't know what you guys do in the city.
Well, you call it farming, going out, community events, like, sending flyers, but doing the door knocking, attending, sponsoring teams. There's a number of different ways to get involved in the community. I talk about local shops, just exactly what you're doing there. Like, I look at all the little spots, not the big, massive, grocery stores or department stores, but like the little mom and pop places. You go in there and support them, right? Yeah. Those are the people that are fueling part of the economy in our small little, markets where we are.
And I think
need the most support.
And yeah, you're right. And those are the ones that people don't know about. Right?
That's right.
It's the little guys that people don't know about. And you know what? I bet you any money, anybody going to see a local bakery or a local I don't know, talk to me here. It's been a long time since I've been in
Yeah, but like a butcher shop, a florist, hey, your hairdresser. I say this to everybody all the time, like get involved with your hairdresser. Like, oh, but they know what I do. I'm like, yeah, but no. You've got to have them on your list as well.
Well, don't forget, guys, your saloon person, your butcher, whoever you're going to try to say hi to and introduce yourself to, you're not the only realtor. You're not the only realtor that uses that butcher shop, that uses that hair salon, or whatever else you have down in the city there. But you're not the only realtor.
We got a lot of stuff in the city.
What is it gonna take to set yourself different than those realtors? What are you gonna do?
Yep. Okay.
That's what's gonna get it.
What would you say is that big differentiator right there when we say what's going to set you apart? If you had to boil it down to something, what would that something be?
I would think it's community involvement.
Okay.
I truly believe that. I've been doing it for like the last, I've been picking and choosing and doing for the last probably 15 years, more heavy in the last few years. And that's what got me to say, you know what, I'm going to do something different. And that's what got me into the volunteer firefighting. I wanted to do something different, and that's what I'm doing.
For me, this is where that motorcycle ride that I did last week with the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, it was literally in an effort to try to give back and just, do something. Look, I saw motorcycle, I saw squirrel, right? That was an easy one for me, but it was cool because it's like, it's right up my alley. And now I'm able to get involved with, call it my realtor community, and be able to network with people and do it for literally nothing. Like in terms of like, we're not looking to gain business out of it. It'd be nice, sure, whatever, but that's not the motive behind it. And when you do things with a genuine intention, good things happen.
But funny you say that because, and here we go. I don't take it the wrong way. Before COVID.
Yep.
Stupid COVID. I hate it. But anyway, before COVID, we did a lot of networking with realtors. Like There used to be a lot more things happening where you can go and meet your realtors, whether it was in Peterborough, whether it was in Mississauga, or wherever it was. You actually got to meet a lot of realtors, new ones, old ones, and faces. You know, hey, how's it going? That's like, I haven't done that. That's one thing I haven't done since COVID's over. I miss it. I actually miss it. Whether you get business or not, then I don't think that's it. But and you learn one word, two words, whatever you pick up from that interaction or that networking that day, it's always something.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that the opportunities have become much more limited. I think that there was a big change that happened. But again, it's always good to just get out there with people because you're going to pick something up, right? So that idea of networking, and it's funny because there's the theme, right? We talk about getting involved in community, networking, talk about getting involved with your peers, networking, right? We come back to what are the things that you need to do in a day to quote unquote hunt for business. And we talked about make some phone calls, answer some emails, follow up with your clients or potential clients. These are the little things you don't need to tackle it all in a day. Like we don't have to eat the elephant in one bite, but we do need to go out there with some sort of system and process. Now, as you bring up the C word, the shit that happened a few years ago, turning the tables here for a second, because part of what we did with today's episode was, what Cottage Country is telling us about the future of the housing market. And I believe that there's something that we can really read into. And if I set the stage on that, I'd say that a few years back, when everything hit and travel restrictions were in place and we just couldn't travel the same way we wanted to, people, felt very inclined to have to follow suit as sheep to go do a thing because they wanted to, travel, fine, whatever. But a lot of people also sat back and said, hey, fine, I can't leave the country, the province, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy a vacation home and go up. And we saw cottage country, prices, activity, volume started to climb like crazy. The droves, the work from home environment, it became a hot commodity.
Yeah.
Tell us, how has that changed? What does the cottage market look like now? Are a lot of people still moving up there? Or are we seeing a lot of people trying to get out? Like, what can we learn right now from that market? Because I believe it tells us a lot.
Okay, hold on a second, David.
Okay. Yes.
So,
by the way, if you want to buy a cottage, go up to see Emma in Bancroft. Right? There, you like that? You like that?
Yeah, I like that. Thanks. There's a lot of good agents up here, just FYI.
There are, absolutely.
So, cottage country. There's a few cottage countries. Bancroft just happens to be one of them.
Yes.
There's the Kawarthas, and then there's Halliburton.
Which I'll give a plug to my friends Dean and Jen in the Kawarthas. They're also C21ers, colleagues of yours.
They're we were always Bancroft, and I can only speak about Bancroft. Like you can only speak about Toronto, you can only speak about Scarborough and Mississauga, because we're all different markets. All of them. There's not one market that's the same, but I'll tell you, all markets right now are shit.
Yes.
It's not good. That's the only thing we have in common right now is the market is not good. But Bancroft has always been steady. It's always been like even. Even in the 2008, 2009, people said, "Oh, didn't you feel that pinch?" No, we didn't feel the pinch here in Bancroft. It's always been even, right? And then COVID hit, the C word. I don't know. What do you want me to call it? You already called the C word.
This is the Mindshare podcast. You can say anything you want.
The C word can stand for many things. So let's.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, that rang through my head too as I said that.
So COVID hit, and we spiked like everyone else. It went stupid. Like I still shake my head on some of the prices that times 3, sometimes 4. It's like unbelievable.
Yes.
Hey, great for the sellers. Like they made their money. Whoever had their place on the market and sold during the COVID time, great, good on them. But now we're in 2023, where interest rates have gone up times 5 for some people. And prices they're not $1 million. They're not 8. They're not even 7. They're going down. Now, are they going to go down to stupid? Probably not. But they have to go down to maybe your 2019 prices times whatever the normal rate should have been. So if you bought, say, in 2018 and you spent $475, well, your place could be worth $6.
Mm-hmm.
Not
even
8.
though you saw it go up to 9, it might be back down to 6, but you're still up.
Yeah, you're still up. Like you're always going to make money. Okay, let's not talk about the COVID bubble here.
Yep.
We're talking about people that bought before that. They haven't lost. I mean, Can I be honest here? Okay.
Yeah, we hope you would be.
Well, so you're going to go do an opinion of value on a cottage, and you give them a price, and it's like they just kind of look at you. It's like, well, you. What do you mean? It's not worth $1 million? No, it's not worth $1 million. Well, why not? It's like because COVID's over.
Yeah,
you are at market value where a willing buyer is willing to spend X amount of dollars for a cottage now. So, yeah, it's a buyer that dictates the price right now. So, is your place worth $1 million? No, it's not. Well, what's it worth? Probably 6 or 7, right. If you're lucky. It's like, oh my God, I lost money. So you look and see what they paid for it. Like, yeah, no, you didn't lose money. It's no.
See, that's perspective though, right? That is perspective because that's the realities right now, and you're bang on. I mean, anybody that purchased probably pre-COVID, and we're not talking during, we're talking like pre. And that's across the board, whatever market you bought in, like whatever the locale was. The reality is you're still up, and we probably are not going to see prices plummet below that. We're still going to see people up now. It's just was that subjective moment in time where we saw a crazy spike where, if you capitalized, fine, but you still had to move into something else, so you paid a higher price as well.
Right.
Right?
So it's like,
Okay, so we know that the market overall, and we're talking, this is not just Bancroft, it's not just cottages. Overall, we know, and we didn't have to like bring that up today to say, oh my God, market's down. We know market's down. Are we
down
seeing as many?
because down? See, and there you go again. It's down because they're taking those prices and they're using the prices of COVID. So remember,
Okay, I like the spin. I like it. So we're actually up. We're actually up. If we take the
You got your market
COVID blip
value
out of the way, we're up.
Yeah, people have to move that COVID out of the way. And I think my problem right now, that's the problem. That's a huge problem between me and a seller right now.
So how do we deal with that? How do you deal with that then? Because I'll tell you now, whether it's you in cottage country or somebody else down in the city, I cottage or condo or house, so the seller wants more money.
Guaranteed. So I say, all right, fine. I will do what you want me to do now. Give you 30 days, no showings. That should dictate to you what's going on here. And then hopefully you'll go with my price. Some do, some don't. Mm-hmm. I got a couple that won't move.
Okay.
Being unrealistic.
Obviously, nobody wants a listing terminated. Not from the seller or the seller the listing agent, but I mean, how do you approach that? Kind of going, they're not going to budge, and they're like, it ain't going to happen at what they want.
Well, I've terminated 2 already.
You're not the only one. Like, we're hearing it left, right, and center right now.
I have to terminate 2. I've got one. I just gave them a realistic price, and they were not happy at all. And it's like, but it is what it is. That's the price.
Yeah.
Will I take the listing at 100,000 over list at this point? No. And I don't know about your market down there, but here in cottage country, as of November, we're like dead zone. November, December, January, it's pretty much dead.
Now that's normal though.
Yeah, that's a normal market.
That's okay.
Yeah, pre-COVID, that's a normal market.
Okay.
I like normal markets. There's nothing wrong with a normal market.
No.
At least you can go into a house, give them a price, and they're normally happy. Now, 50% of your sellers are not happy.
Right.
Oh, we've lost money. It's like,
no, you haven't. No, you haven't.
No.
So are we obviously buying activity across the board is down? Are we seeing, again, take COVID out of the mix, are we seeing numbers similar to what they would normally be? Or are things still quiet compared to? I guess I'm trying to find the opportunities.
Yeah.
Are there opportunities up there?
No.
Because everything is still technically up compared to what it might have been at one point.
Yeah. You get the odd one, like the odd seller that does listen.
Yeah.
But we got to get our sellers at the mindset that it's not COVID. It's let's get real. Let's get to a market value. That's real, not COVID years. And I think that's where the problem's going to be.
So this is, so the gap is the same across the board right now. So for, again, everybody tuned in, recognize that it doesn't matter where you're dealing or where you're transacting.
You should have put some city agents here in the mix. I would have just to get their take on it, but I'm pretty sure we're all in the same boat.
Well, actually, that leads me to my next step here.
What?
Should out-of-town agents be trying to sell up in cottage country? Like, what would you say to anyone who has a client from out of town? What don't they know? What do they need to know? Because I know that there's stuff that you know about up there that it wouldn't even cross my mind. And it crosses my mind now only because I get to spend so much time with you and being up there. But outside of that, like what?
That's a touchy subject. That's a touchy.
I know. Easy now.
Touchy. It's like, what do I say not to get in trouble?
Right. Well, this is the Mindshare podcast. You can it's very hard to get in trouble here.
So
if we could, I would have been in trouble a long time ago.
Just so you know, here's the difference. If I get any of my clients that are selling a condo in Toronto or anywhere down south of 7,
yep,
it's not for me.
Okay.
I will refer that sale to somebody else because I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have sold condos here, but I think the condos being sold in Toronto and the bigger cities have more bylaws, more things that need to be known versus a condo here in Bancroft. I mean, I think it's a huge difference. So if a city agent comes to Bancroft and tries to sell a house, there's much more to know than selling a city house. You've got your septics, you've got your wells, you've got your right-of-ways. You've got to know that what the environmental protection bylaws are. Are you under the Crow Valley or whatever protection you have in that area? So yeah, there's a lot to know. And if you don't look it up or don't know enough to look it up, your clients are in trouble. And I've had in the last, over COVID, because we had a lot of, city agents selling properties, especially coming in cash, no conditions. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do? The due diligence wasn't done, or questions weren't asked.
See, that's the important thing.
Then I get those buyers calling me, like, well, why is this happening? I said, well, two things. I say, because I can't talk to you. You're not my client. Did you talk to the realtor that sold it to you? No. Did you talk to the lawyer that you sat in front of, hopefully, and asked them those questions? No. I said, well, you can't come to me now. So yeah, a lot of I'm not saying all deals are like that, but
of course.
But there have been a few deals that you can get into a lot of trouble and sued.
Well, and I think that's the thing that we need to look at when we look at in this business with, I don't know if it's compliance. I mean, maybe some of it's compliance, but ethics, the fiduciary duty, fulfilling obligations, like, there's due care that needs to be taken to help somebody purchase a property.
Let me tell you something that just happened to me.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so you just reminded me because I'm going.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm looking for because I want to set the stage for people.
But anyway, so I have a seller now. He wants me to go give him an opinion of value on his cottage that he bought over COVID. In the winter. It's like, okay. So I said, give me your, send me a copy of your property tax. From there, I can know what I'm going into, look up where it's at, the location. Like there's a lot of things. Location, remember, location. That's anywhere you try to sell, right?
Yep.
So, and that includes lakes. If you don't have the right location on a lake, you have no investment. But anyway, so I look it up and I see where it is on the lake and I'm going, oh my God. He bought it in the winter. He wants to sell it. And the location of this place is what's known as Mud Bay.
Uh-oh.
That's what I said. Uh-oh. So now I got to go tomorrow, have a little chit chat with this seller. And I don't know what he expects, but I know exactly what I'm going to do and tell him the truth. I may not get the listing,
right?
But, and then I couldn't understand why he said, oh, it'll be a great time of year to sell the cottages in the winter. And I'm thinking, and this is before I did my work, right? Like, wonder why. Like,
so he knew because he spent a couple summers up there, I guess.
Yeah. Right. So I didn't quite get what he meant until I looked it up and found the location of the property on the lake. I'm going, uh-huh. And he thinks I'm going to try to sell it like the way he bought it. I don't think so.
Yeah. You see, that's a big one, though. That's a great example right there. Because again, I think it's huge. Look, right, and you know me, I'm always digging around, looking at the cottage. And I love to look, right? I love to see what's going on. Obviously, we have a very, very small, 100-foot radius we would travel based on other external factors of location. You get it. But the reality is I'm always looking. And how many times I've even been like, hey, what do you think? You're like, weedy, or, the I don't know, the current comes in the wrong way, or, sunsets or whatever. And it's like, you sit there going, and think about that. Like I see water, I see cottage. I go, great, cottage on the water. You go, which lake, what side of the lake, what's it about? And you understand exactly what's going on. Because again, that's your neck of the woods.
I think it's important. Well, I know maybe many don't agree, but you have to be honest.
Yes. No.
And
I agree.
actually, I heard a podcast from you.
You listen to my podcast?
I do. So, and one of the important things you said was, don't be a salesman. And you are 100%, 150% right. When people says, oh, you're a salesperson, and you know what? I correct them. No, I'm not.
That's right.
I am not a salesperson. I won't. If I don't agree or I don't like the property myself, you're going to know about it. Then it's up to you what you want to do. It's weedy. Oh, we don't care. Okay, it's on you.
I've actually experienced that firsthand with you many times. I'm like, and what do you think? You're like, no. And you walk away. I'm like, but like, give me something more. But I've come to learn that if you just go, no, I'm like, no.
Okay, fine. You won't like it because it's got like 150 steps. So don't bother coming up here.
But
and
that's
key points. Not a lot of realtors will tell you there's 150 steps going down to the water. It's like,
yeah, but there's the other thing, though. There's the reality, right? Is that because seriously, you know the area, you know the lakes, you know what's going on. You're going to be able to say, hey, you got to figure out this. Oh, that cottage particular is this, or that's only 3 season, or it's only this. Like, you know these things intuitively. And look, for everybody tuned in, okay, yes, we're very isolated today on where Emma is working. But I would say the same thing to you. She said it too. She goes, south of 7, she's not going to go for it. She's going to call you because she goes, that's not her territory. She hasn't got the same type of knowledge that somebody else has to be able to educate that potential buyer or seller. And I think that that's the message we're trying to bring across right now is not, you can't do, but instead we need honesty. We need due care for the client, and we need to pay attention to the fact that this is the biggest investment of their life, whether it's a primary or a secondary home. Mm-hmm. It's a big nut to pay for every day, every month. So having the right advice is crucial.
Yeah, and remember that if you're honest up front with your clients and you've got that relationship with them, their family, their kids, their sisters, their uncles, their aunts, they're going to call you. Yeah. It could be from Niagara Falls. It could be from Burlington. It could be from Ottawa. They're going to call you. And then you get the choice. Do I take the listing or the buyer, or do I refer it out? Mm-hmm. That's where it all comes from.
So as we talk about clients then, and you being there, and I look and say again, obviously living down in the city, I travel over there. To me, it's like that's my home away from home, but it's the vacation, it's the cottaging, it's whatnot.
Oh, come on, David. What? You work. Did David tell you that he makes maple syrup?
I think I have told them. I think I've told them many times, actually. It's just they can't.
He actually makes maple syrup from like the buckets, not the blue lines, but we go around, collect the buckets, and we make the maple syrup.
We even
boil for hours.
Spill some accidentally sometimes.
Yeah, whole barrel.
No, yeah, but you know what? The best thing for me was the fact that at the end of it, we emptied all the buckets because we were done. I was like, well, we would have had too much anyways. So I did it on purpose. No, I didn't. But your clients, where are most of your clients coming from? Is this prospecting? Is it referrals? Who are you typically dealing with?
Prospecting and referrals.
Okay.
Hitting up lakes and hitting up, and hitting up my old clients, like your what do you call it? Like your
database, your contact list, CRM.
Yeah, I do that. I do a lot of that. Make sure that everybody's on it, and I touch base with them.
Is there, when we think about touching base and making sure that we're keeping in touch with the CRM, and this almost kind of goes back to like the top of today's show when we said, like, what does that non-negotiables look like? But have you got a number in mind in a day that says, I want to be sure that I'm connecting with, X amount of people a day so that I feel like I'm doing? Like, how do you know in a day that even you're doing enough?
You don't.
Okay.
You don't.
So how do you know?
Realistically, you don't. Okay. Oh, how do you know it's enough?
Yeah.
Well, you may have nothing on your schedule. You come in, I come in every day. And I have some days there's nothing.
She literally does 7 days a week. Like
there's like, you walk in and it's like, it's going to be a good day because I got nothing on my agenda. There's nothing on my appointments. It's looking like a good day. So you come in and you start, and you have emails. So you do your regular email routine, right? And then 9:30 hits. It's like a shitstorm. It's like, and you know what? And it's like your day goes. So you've already done it without even knowing it. I don't know if that makes any sense. And I think it makes sense to a lot of us realtors that have been in the business for over 10 to 15 years. So it's like you walk in, nothing's going on, and all of a sudden there's a shitstorm of calls happening. And it's like, WTF, okay, I'm busy.
What does WTF stand for?
Did you really want to tell you?
I told you it's a Mindshare podcast. We don't need acronyms. But seriously, no. But you know what that is, though, and this comes back to a point that I make often, is trust in the process, right? You're getting up, you're doing stuff that you know has worked in the past, connecting with people, reaching out to the database, doing the follow-ups, helping as many people as you possibly can. And even on a day where you think to yourself, there's almost going to be nothing going on, and all of a sudden it becomes a shitstorm, whether it's going out and, doing showings, a listing presentation, dealing with some sort of something, and offers coming through, whatever, something, it's going to happen. Why? Because all the stuff that was done prior to that, that's been done so consistently for so many years, doing out of the goodness of the heart, has created that momentum to be able to have this stuff come through.
So I
believe that's one of the biggest missing factors that everybody understands, is like they're looking for the immediate results.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Filling the pipe, whether you fill it up quarter, half, or full in one day, that's eventually it's going to drain out. It will, whether it happens the day after, the week after, but it eventually will draining. And I'm telling you, it does work. That filling the pipe is what I call it. It works. And remember, your community is what is key too. Keep your community, do something, do 10 things, do one thing. I don't care, do something. And try to do it from the heart, because I think people can tell if it comes from there.
Well, what about the whole thing of like, but I went and bought ice cream for all the soccer parents on my daughter's team, and nobody did any business with me.
They won't. Not today, not tomorrow. Well, maybe next year you might get one. Who knows?
So but remember, what would I do to capitalize then?
If you do it once, means I'm hoping that you did it because you wanted to do it. But if you're going to pick something to do with the community, do it for a year or two. Like I remember being on the food bank for 10 years, volunteering whatever it is they needed from me. Like a lot of work went into volunteering with the food bank. It just doesn't mean you do it, here's once and I'm okay and I'm going to get business. No, that's not how it goes. If you're going to pick, I know you can't spread yourself thin, especially for you, for the realtors that are young and have families, but pick one thing, whether it's the food bank. What do you guys got down there? I don't know. I know food bank's key everywhere. Food bank's
a big one for sure. Great example.
Or your church. There's a lot of there's a lot of places that need volunteers. Pick one, pick two, and just do it for a few years. And you know what? That pipe is going to fill and you're going to see something. But it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen eventually. I don't know. Does that make sense, David?
No, it makes complete sense. And I think it's a great message because it's something that I ring through on a regular basis with people. And I try to get people to understand that. Like I'll give you an example of farming, right? When we're sending out flyers to a neighborhood, as you said, sort of that radius around where you live, sending out the flyers around there. Don't just send the flyer. No. Go do the door knock, get involved in the community, make sure that people see that you're there. And then I also say to people, and this is something because, from the kits side of my business, we do flyers for people. And people will come in, after a month, 2 months, while they went out, it didn't do anything. Like, what did you expect? This is like a 12-month minimum climb before you start to see traction. But if you could stick it out long enough from a time investment and a money investment, you will reap the benefits. And then they will come.
It's not just 1 year, David.
No,
if I get 2 flyers in one, let's pretend
Yep.
If I get 2 flyers in 1 year, well, okay, it's not the only flyer I get. Remember, guys,
Right.
you're getting like 5 different flyers from 5 different people, and they're all flyers. Okay. So then all of a sudden, I go into my town and something's going on, and one of the realtors from the 5 flyers that I got happened to be doing something there. And then all of a sudden I see the same realtor doing something else eventually. Like, it's not just the flyers in your immediate section. It's doing other things that
we call that support mechanisms.
Yeah.
Right. It's gotta be supported. Right. Do you subscribe to the whole online lead bullshit?
No.
Okay.
Do you?
No, I call it bullshit.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously. Like I know so many listeners will be like, Dave, I've heard you say this a million times. And yes, I'm saying it for a reason, because there's a lot of people looking for a magic pill right now to try to figure out what's going on with the market or what's going on with them. And I'm saying to people, I mean, look, we can look back at your habits and what you do on a daily basis, see if you got the right systems in place and if you're putting in the effort. Outside of that, you can't control the market. You can control you. So then people are like, well, I got to find more buyers. I'm like, do you think that there's something you don't know? Like, well, I'm not sure. I'm like, well, let me ask you this. It's hard to find buyers right now. They're like, yeah. I said, so do you think that signing up for this online lead program that says they're going to send you buyers would be helpful? They're like, well, maybe. I'm like, okay, just before you do it, if you can't find the buyers and the other umpteen realtors I spoke to today can't find the buyers, what makes you believe that this online program, which wants your money, has all these buyers? See, I don't subscribe to it. I believe it's a bunch of bullshit. I believe everybody's playing whack-a-mole all day, trying to chase down, or like the Wild Wild West, who can pull the gun out the fastest and shoot, speed to lead, whatever. To me, the notion of this was a bright, shiny object a number of years ago. And yes, when the market is popping and you got God knows how many people that are interested in buying real estate, maybe then somewhere along the lines, you might have this funnel that actually has some legitimate stuff. But everybody's got to take into account right now.
That was easy. That's easy.
That's what I'm saying. It was easy.
But now we're on a normal market. And I think realtors have to remember that they have to work for it. They have to, or you're not going to make any money. You're not going to make any sales. If you don't work for it, it's not going to happen.
That's probably the biggest thing that people miss. Now, you said, and I read this earlier, but the most important key point to being successful in this industry is that you must always and consistently put your client's best interest first.
Always.
Why do you think so many realtors get this so wrong?
Because they're trying to sell something. I'm not going to sell you a cottage. So this is key point for me anyway. And people laugh. I don't care. But I can't even tell you the number of sales I've made in the last 24 years. But I can tell you of all the cottages I have sold, and there have been many. I'm not even going to put a number.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know what you call it, but I may have one every 5 or maybe one every 10 years call me back, say, hey, we've got to sell our cottage. And I've sold many cottages.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'd rather see a lifelong commitment from my buyers than somebody calling me in a year saying, hey, I got to sell my cottage. I hate it. So I educate my clients about cottage living, about what they're buying. Did you hear that key point? Educate.
Yep.
And you want to make sure that they're doing the right thing, because God forbid, like especially in this market, they bought a cottage like 2 years ago and they hate it. Now I got to try to sell it. Good luck with that.
Right. Markets. Well,
good luck with that.
It's not the same numbers it was.
No.
When they purchased.
No.
So it's about education.
Oh, huge.
And too many agents are just trying to sell to make a dollar.
Yeah.
And I think that those agents, and there's a lot of them that make money doing that, but I don't know that there's longevity in their career doing that, or maybe predictability, right? Because now when you're taking care of your client, you're doing the education properly, you let them know what's going on, you're doing all the right things. You are earning, the trust. That trust will create predictability down the road, because there's a good chance they're going to sell that property one day and they'll come back to you, and or they'll have another property they want to sell, come back to you, and or they're not selling anything, but they got a referral that they want to send you away because they love you. And you did a great job.
I'd rather take the referral.
Yeah, I 1,000,000%. Like, and we know that that's the driving force behind 79% of the business for any agent in this industry.
Correct.
It is that referral, right? It is that
and not only that, and like you've got agents that do refer their clients to you, and they keep referring because you know how you treat their clients.
So, what would you say then that buyers and or sellers need to know about this market right now? And what should they do if they're thinking about buying or selling a cottage? And again, I bring that up just to almost take advantage of the fact that, across the board, yes, we saw prices go up through the COVID time. We're seeing things change. And I love the way we've positioned that today to say, look, it's not down. It's not.
No.
But what should people know? Because I think that there is this moment in time right now where, it is difficult to buy. Money is hard to come by. Much the same, I look at it and go, hey, if you were thinking about buying 2 years ago and you almost put your toe in the water, but you didn't, you've actually, in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, you got a lot of opportunity today if you've got cash flow.
So I got both, right? So I have buyers that I've had for the last 3 years, still trying to find them something. And they're in a good position because they were at like 1.5 2 years ago, and now they're like still there, but I find those buyers are really picky. Like they weren't picky before, but they're really picky now. So it's like, okay. As for sellers, you have to, that's a whole different shitstorm. Sellers. Yeah. That's a tough one because they're not listening to you.
No, because everybody's got predetermined expectations of what their neighbor sold for or what the market's been doing, and that's what they want today.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, then I would say to everybody, and I know you know this, but determine their motivation. Figure out if they really need to sell right now, if they were just trying to capitalize on a market.
So right now, anybody trying to sell right now, they're just trying to capitalize. My fear is what's going to happen next year to the cottage owners that are going to need to sell. So we'll see.
And those are the
that'll be
people that
interesting.
what? Those are the people that bought what in the past 2-3 years?
3 years.
Yeah. See? Yeah. And I think
or I've had already a couple approach me, like a couple for sure. They're going to kind of wait, but they're refinancing, like they're remortgaging their cottage, and it's like, do we pay the 5.7 and hold on to it and see what happens next year? It's like, you got to do what you got to do. So I've got a couple that are waiting for next year, see what happens. They're just going to remortgage for a year at the 5.7.
I think we just nailed the answer to what cottage country is telling us about the future of the housing market. I really do. And there was amazing education here, but I think to what you just said, and I'll say I echo it 1,000,000%. I would have said it even before you. I believe that next year there's going to be a shit ton of opportunity in the market, and that's whether it's cottage country or that's down in the city. There's going to be a lot of opportunity to purchase a home if you got cash flow.
If you got cash flow.
That's
key. Yeah.
Well, listen, that was key 3 years ago when everybody started paying over asking for money that they already couldn't afford. And then they went and got even more money just so they could buy the place without conditions. And now all of a sudden rates go up and they're like, what the hell do I do? You're like, why weren't you thinking about that 3 years ago? So cash flow, no matter what market, is always important. But we nailed it, right? There's a lot to learn around, again, people buying vacation homes, people moving out of the city, or people moving back, or people selling. There's a lot to learn from what people are doing, because that's where some of the exponential dollars go when people have it to spend. And to see where we're at today, understanding the difficulties in the market and understanding, kind of what lies ahead, I think for everybody right now, for everybody in this industry, you just heard it from Emma, 24 years in the business, consistency. Do it out of the goodness of doing and helping. Don't be selling. Work your database. Do the things you need to do on a daily. Build trust with people. And when the time is right, the opportunities will come. Emma, as we wrap up this today,
Mhm.
How do you know at the end of your day when you get home and it's time to just relax and kind of close out? How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Those are far and few between.
I beg to differ. You kick ass. See, that's truly spoken like an entrepreneur / business owner right there.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that one.
Then I'll say it for you. I think you answered it throughout the entire show. You used the word help many times, and you showed that where you're coming from and the angle that you take is not to be a salesperson, but it's to help people do what's in their best interest. And, so I would say that that's what I took away from what you're having a success in a day, because it wasn't close a deal today. It was, did I do something to help people today, whether it's my community or it's a client or even a friend? Because I know you got an amazing group of friends up there as well. Our Potashians. That's a shout out, everybody. Final words, Emma. Number one, where can people get a hold of you if they are interested in anything that is related to Bancroft? Where can they find you? And what final words, tips, advice, or anything have you got just before we sign off today?
Well, you can get me at 613-332-9080. That's my cell, direct. And if my advice to anybody starting off, it doesn't matter whether you're new or old, but the key thing is being community oriented. That is key, very key in any business.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you think the hour would go by this quickly?
No, because just so you know, everybody, I did not think I could sit here, anybody that knows me anyway. They know that I wouldn't be able to sit here for an hour and talk. Go figure, Dave.
Well, you did an amazing job, and I had no doubt that you would. It was an absolute pleasure having you on, Emma. Thank you very much for helping us build Mindshare.
I'm number 251.
Can't wait to see you shortly.
Okay.
Thanks, Em.
Thank you.
You are either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms. Maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. While you're there, be sure to download our free guide called The Ultimate Marketing Bundle. This is a 31-page ebook with a 90-day social media content calendar, all in place to help you build more Mindshare so that you can get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual training for your office, your association, your brokerage, get in touch with me, get in touch with my team. We'll set up a consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how we will help you do just that. Of course, for all inquiries, just get in touch with us. Don't forget to leave a review of this podcast at www.ratethispodcast.com/Mindshare101. Really, that's just sort of a middle ground. If you want to go to iTunes or Spotify or wherever you want to go, click on that, ratethispodcast.com/Mindshare101. Big 5 stars. Tell us how much you love the show. Go ahead and share it with people. Seriously, thank you in advance. If we haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook and on Instagram. Facebook is Mindshare 101. Instagram is David Greenspan 101. And of course, before we take off, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Magazine, and the ORCF, Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, for sponsoring this episode of the Mindshare podcast. Please be sure to visit my website, mindshare101.com, to find out what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.